It's a lovely sunny afternoon here in Mallaig, and I've come down to the harbour because later on this evening I'm getting the ferry over to the Isle of Skye. But first I'm going to be going on a mini adventure with Billy from Minch Adventures, and this is a family-run company who do private charter vessels to explore the coastline. So we're just leaving the marina now. We've got the ferry behind me that I'll be catching out to the Isle of Skye later on, and we're going to be heading round the Knoydart Peninsula to do a little bit of fishing, which I'm not very proficient at, but I'm keen to learn, keen to eat as well. That's usually the main thing for me. So after World War II, the Mallaig, which is where I just got on the boat, became the premier fishing destination for herring on the west coast, and it's still a thriving fishing community, which means that at every meal I'm definitely going to be indulging in seafood and shellfish. So this paper-drawn sea map from the 1970s, to me, looks fairly thorough, but then if you look at how primitive that is compared to the modern technology now. So the very pointy hill you can see just behind me is called the Witch's Hat, and we're hopefully going to get a better view in a minute when we go inside one of these locks. And Billy was just explaining to me that the locks are very important for his business, as obviously there's a lot of wind and turbulent weather around here, and you get a little bit of shelter when you're inside them. It looks like quite a nice life being a seal, doesn't it? So we're now in Loch Nevis, and it definitely is a little bit sheltered from the wind. I'm just admiring these lovely houses here. They're incredibly remote, and actually, although there's a small road joining the houses together, and they are on the mainland, they're not actually joined to a main road, so coming by boat is one of the only ways to reach them. So one more interesting fact for you, on the other side of the peninsula, that's where Ian Fleming's family home is. So of course he's the creator of James Bond, and supposedly during the Second World War this peninsula was actually closed off to the public because they trained the special operations executives here, and that's where a lot of the inspiration for James Bond came from. So we're making a pit stop in true British fashion at a pub, but there's a specific reason for this, because this is going to be the Old Forge pub, which is in the Guinness Book of Records as the most remote pub on the British mainland, so we have to stop here. So this is the Old Forge, which is in the Guinness Book of Records for being the most remote pub on the British mainland. And it certainly is remote, but this is beautiful. You think that most places in the UK are quite busy, overrun with tourists, and this is so peaceful. And I've got myself a pint of Caledonian Best. So despite it being a very small community, they've actually got a brewery here called Knoydart Brewery. So I'm just heading up there now. I've been lucky enough to be allowed to have a little look around. Oh, it's very pretty, isn't it? Not sure quite what to expect. I'm guessing it's a microbrewery. But it's certainly quite famous in the area. So this was St Agatha's Chapel, which was deconsecrated in 1992, and then it's been a brewery since 2018, but obviously the past couple of years it's been slightly interrupted, but they've got 6 different types of IPA, and they've got interest as far as Fort William, so they're going to be supplying a lot of different pubs soon, which is pretty cool.
All our beer and bottles that we've got out. start slipping down to the seabed, but I want you to cover it with your thumb, because if you let it go too fast, it'll hit the bottom and it'll turn into like a bird's nest. Like. And that's it, touch the bottom. Just put the clutch back in again and just wind it off a wee bit. And then just sort of jig it up. You want something to snap at it like.
I'm trying to follow instructions here. I'm letting it down to the bottom a bit. There we go. And trying different depths. Well, I'm hoping to catch some mackerel.
Get the wide angle lens because it'll be
a bit, but I'm not experienced enough to know. Hey!
Well, not for that in camera.
That still counts.
That's embarrassing. The seal will eat anything. They won't survive, like. Come on.
Use a bit of live bait.
I'm still going to count that.
There's this.
Rolling.
Oh, he's putting in a fight.
I hope you're hungry.
One bite.
So we're heading back to the harbour now, and I've realised that I've spent the past 5 hours calling it Mallaig, but it's actually just Mallaig. Although I've been told that, of course, that's how you know whether you're local or not. It's how you pronounce it, or if you pronounce it incorrectly, like I did.
The biggest one.
Oh, here comes another.
So that's the one he keeps fighting.
That's a little one, isn't it?
Yeah, he keeps being really mean to that one. Oh, you're going to get good footage there.
Well, that's a perimeter about this.
But they're clearly well fed, aren't they? Look at the... No, what you want is every time I come to somewhere with a water...
You might. So we're just about to leave the port in Mallaig, ready for the 55-minute ferry journey over to Skye, and I'm pretty excited because I have actually visited Skye before, but I was about 10 with my parents, so it will be very nice to go back and see whether it's changed or whether it hasn't, and explore the island for a couple of days.